Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Government Secrets episode 97 with the two most censored comedians in the world, Lee Camp and Crab Elwood.
Technical difficulties, huh? I can't.
Well-
one of these days, finally the camera's gonna spin around and show your setup there, and it's gonna be like one of those like busy boxes for like a 2-year-old with just like the brightly colored knobs and like says Hasbro across the top.
Ding, 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 ding. It's just me.
It's a bunch of little bells and things. And you're gonna be like, look, show me what I'm doing wrong here.
I just watched a YouTube tutorial. I should be doing this correctly. Ring, boom, boom, bum, bang, bang, bang. I think that sums up most of my life, is I'm just in front of a Hasbro noise-making 2-year-old thing, and that's pretty much how I function, how I operate.
One of these days we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Oh, one of these days we're gonna get to it. And I should also say, I had one of those stupid nights of sleep. You know, like I wake up at 2:45 and I'm like, and I fall back asleep, and then I woke up and I was tossing and turning, and then I had a dream. Some guy was like cleaning my apartment, and then there was this loud knock on the door.
What?
That woke me up, and it was like 4, and I was and I'm like, oh, so I grabbed my
Oh God, here we go.
I sleep with nunchucks next to my bed. Anyway, I don't believe in God.
Yes, yes. I was hoping it would either be that or a spatula.
I'm not a fan of guns, but martial art weapons I'm a huge proponent of, and I've studied and trained in them, and I love them. So
some old woman knocks on Graham's door at 4 a.m. and a throwing star shoots halfway through the door.
Just the size sticks, just like so I opened my door in underwear and Choco sticks, and no one was there. So the knock was in my dream, or somebody like doorbell dashed me at ding dong dashed at 4 a.m. And I hope there's some TikTok video of like, oh, you got to do this because this guy will answer the door with the underwear and nunchucks.
Ding Dong Dash is also your ninja name when you have your nunchucks.
So it was a pretty eventful morning in the Elwood household today. So it was just
it's a good thing you don't have a cat. I feel like the cat would end up dead at some point with a throwing star through the head.
I know people are like, you should get a cat or a dog. I'm like, no way. These animals, I would be like screaming in the middle of the night or something. And it would just be terrified. Or I'd be like, God damn it, with some technical thing, you know, on that Hasbro button. And they'd be like, oh, I don't want to be here. So yeah, then I fell back and woke up and then I woke up really like a half hour before we were supposed to go live. I was like, so my whole day, I went to bed early. I usually go to bed around 10. If I don't have a show, I usually go to bed around 10-ish, wake up around 6, and I'm ready to go. But this time I was like, well, and I'm just running around. So, but I was able to make a delicious cup of hot tea in the Government Secrets mug, folks, only available at patreon.com/government secrets. And folks, a lot of you people who got this, I think they shipped out. So if you've got one of these, take a photo and tag us and put it on social media.
I'm sorry for the coughing. I'm still getting over the COVID pox, and I have a slight cough, but it wasn't really a problem. But I guess I haven't been laughing that much, and so you are activating my cough, which is unacceptable.
Well, Lee, if me and underwear and nunchucks makes you laugh, then if that's the cure for COVID, folks, is me and underwear and nunchucks.
Pew pew! It's Ding Dong Dash. Graham comes running out of his underwear with nunchucks, and somehow still has a shoulder pocket. No shirt on, just the shoulder pocket.
underwear. Well, that's where I keep my throwing stars, Lee. So I just
They come out of the little pocket. So somehow there's 900 in there. Just
some old lady who knocked at my door. There's a leak in the building.
It's in her shape of her body.
Just right around her. You're lucky I've been trained. Otherwise, I would have killed you, Nana. Yeah, we've had a lot of chaos over here. My neighbor's pipes leaked and there was construction, like emergency to fix. So during my live stream last night, I was trying to do segments and I just had to keep stalling because I'd be like, well, all right, guys, let's get into this segment. Queen Elizabeth's ties to Epstein. Like, so it was.
So wait, you stalled through the noise?
I just couldn't start the segment until like 7 o'clock. I usually go live at 6 and it was I started at 6:30 and then.
You sure it wasn't that you had the red bell button up too high? You didn't have that one where the little ball rolls down the ramp. Did you have that too high an angle?
I had the knob on horsey instead of doggy, and I think that's what messed it up.
It was on cow goes moo instead of rooster goes cockadoodle.
Yeah, if you have it on the wrong animal setting, it really messes with your pipes. So
yeah, it does.
It's
all right. Well, let's get going because I don't want to be here all day. I don't want to be here all day.
But I just want people to know if there is a knock on the door, I will be in my underwear with nunchucks, just in the middle of the show.
So you're saying it's not just if you wake up in your underwear. If you have a knock on the door and you're fully clothed, you take a moment to rip off the clothes.
To rip off the clothes, and just me and Choco sticks, and I'll answer the door like that with the one here like this, just like you rang, like that's how I.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Is this shocking anyone?
When I explain like how I actually live to people, I sound like an insane person, and there's no way around it. Like
you're like, I was gonna have the under the pillow a mace, the stick to the chain ball, but there was a 3-day waiting period on getting those, so I just went ahead.
My samurai sword, my katana, is at my friend's place, and I stored it there when I was moving. And so he's like, "Hey man, can you come get this samurai sword?"
I stored it there after a brief intervention with some friends and family.
Everybody should have, every samurai knows they shouldn't be too far away from their katana because it's an extension of their soul. Anyway, Lee Camp, let's get into our first segment.
Then one of the nunchucks an extension of. That's your dick.
That's
katana,
your
soul.
Their dicks.
Nunchuck dick.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. That's why I'm always in my underwear whenever I pick them up, just so people know what's what. Anyway, so let's get into
government secrets. Segment number 1.
Actually, should we do mine first?
Either way, sure.
Yeah, mine was from last week.
Okay, I'll just give a teaser. Mine's because the Queen just died. I thought we'd get into where those diamonds on her crown come from.
Oh, probably a very honorable state. Like nobody was hurt to get them. No one was exploited. I'm assuming, right? Like they were.
You guessed right.
When I think of the English Empire, I definitely think conflict-free diamonds. That's the first thing that pops into my mind.
Blood-free diamonds. I'm sure they have very crystal clean provenance or whatever it's called on those diamonds. They know exactly where they went.
I mean, in general, there's no blood on the hands of the English throne. I mean, that we can. No. All right. Well, I'll do this one. So, I was going to do this last week because we just had Labor Day in the United States, which it's a very unique holiday because it's really, if you think about it, it's the only holiday where we don't celebrate war, religion, or gluttony. You know, it's literally
what do we celebrate? Mattresses, cheaper mattresses, right?
we celebrate Ichabod Mattress was the first mattress inventor, and he no, we actually we celebrate labor.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and we've talked a little bit about it on the show. So this, you know, we've unionized over 200 Starbucks stores in this country, which has been pretty. That's like the one bright spot of things that are happening in this country. I think, wow, they're
Yeah.
and what Chris Smalls on Labor Day had a huge Amazon workers like labor summit in New York City, which was huge. But what were you going to say?
No, it definitely is a highlight of what's going on right now. But I was just going to go back to the Labor Day. You said it's the only thing that doesn't celebrate war and stuff, and that's true. Except many of them have been shifted over time. I think was it Mother's Day started as an anti-war,
Yes.
anti-war activist moment, and now they've shifted it to just a Hallmark card and get your mom some flowers that'll die a day later.
Yeah, it's a shopping thing now.
Yeah. And even though May Day, May 1st, originated in the United States, in Chicago and the Haymarket Affair, right?
Mhm.
It now is we're one of the countries that doesn't celebrate it anymore. So they've done their best to try and eliminate any holidays that don't celebrate war or
Mhm.
white supremacy or something.
Yeah, the first Mother's Day actually was in the Civil War. It was a bunch of moms getting together saying we're sick of our sons dying in war, so we're against it. It came back again during World War I. And now it's buy your mom chocolate covered strawberries and here's the coupon code. But the other thing about Labor Day, before I get into this specific, we're going to talk about the Homestead strike. There's also, this could be a completely separate segment that we should do at some point, of how the National Guard was basically created to quell labor strikes in this country.
That should be a segment. That actually makes a lot of sense.
Right? If you think about it, you go, oh, of course. It's like, no, we need a militia here at home. For what?
Well, I was just talking about this the other day because I was showing video of them talking about the water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like CBS News, and it was all about how the National Guard had arrived to hand out bottles of water. And I was like, only in the U.S. are we like, we need some fucking military there to hand out water, because no one could hand out water except dudes in camo with guns. That's the only way to hand out water. And then I'm like, the real reason is that the National Guard is there is because when people don't have water and they literally fucking can't survive, you get very quickly to larger scale actions, riots, revolutions, those type of things. So the National Guard is not there to hand out water. The National Guard is to hand out water, and subconsciously everyone goes, wow, there's a lot of dudes with guns around.
Yeah, it's drink your water and shut up. That's what they were handing out. A nice hot cup of fucking shut up and toe the line.
Here's a nice warm bottle of shut the fuck up.
Yeah, shut up. And stop asking questions as to, you know, I did a whole segment on it on they basically, like, the mayor of Jackson and the governor of Mississippi were like, it's going to take at least somewhere in the neighborhood of $2 to $3 billion to fix Mississippi's water thing, because this has been building for years. Shocking. America, that's 13th in the world in infrastructure, has bad water. Weird. And
it's been building for years, but we just chose to do nothing about it until literally brown sludge was oozing out your tap.
No, but they did actually do something about it. On the day that, like, it really it came to a head, we sent an additional $3 billion to Ukraine. So we did solve the water.
Right.
We took the amount of money it would take to fix it and sent it to Ukraine, a war we helped create, where we're literally giving money to back neo-Nazis. But other than that, it's been fantastic. So, So let's talk about the 1892 Homestead strike. And I actually got this off of the AFL-CIO website. The 1892 Homestead strike in Pennsylvania and the ensuing bloody battle instigated by the steel plant's management remain a transformational moment in U.S. history, leaving scars that have never fully healed. Okay, so the skilled steel mill workers of Homestead, 7 miles southeast of downtown Pittsburgh, were members of the Amalgamated Association of Iron and Steel Workers, who had bargained exceptionally good wages and work rules. Oh, there's your first mistake right there. Homestead's management, with millionaire Andrew Carnegie as owner, was determined to lower its costs of production.
Hold on, I thought he was just a philanthropist.
No, yeah. After he ruined people's lives and squeezed them from money and labor, and they all died, then he built a library, and everybody said, "What a nice old man."
He's like, just forget everything I did to cause my life, but here's a fucking library.
Yeah. So that's all Jeffrey Dahmer needed to do, was just build like a library in his name, or like a cooking school. And everyone he'd be all right.
Then his Wikipedia today would say, well-known philanthropist, comma, cannibal.
Who really taught people how to boil heads correctly. So this is going to be shocking too.
There's an image there. You can.
Oh, let's put the image up. There they are. These guys, boy, when you see pictures like that, you think these guys never did anything evil, you know?
Both sporting the Robert E. Lee beard.
It's, oh, do you just spot that everywhere because that's your lineage, or where you were named after?
I'm big into the Robert E. Lee beard, yeah.
Is that why you have facial hair, Lee?
Yeah, trying my best to look like the man, the myth, the legend. You know, I've really modeled my life after his. I think he and I would be best of chums.
I look at these guys, the first thing I think of is neither one of those guys know how to use nunchucks. That's the first thing.
Although, arguably, if they were coming at you in their underwear, it might be scarier than you.
The Carnegie boys are just running at you full throttle with their evening breeches on. Anyway, so Carnegie Steel Company. Now this is what's going to shock Lee. So these labor guys, this union, they were making good wages. And do you think Carnegie Steel was losing money, or were they making record wages?
I assume if they went after the workers and the strikers, they must have been losing a lot of money, and it was upsetting to them.
No, shockingly enough, Lee.
They were making goddamn shit. God, I quit this stupid game.
Yeah. It's weird. It's almost like another example of these guys making record profits. A record $4.5 million in 1892. Which right before the confrontation, Carnegie said, quote, "Was there ever such a business?" Like he's so excited that this is making so much money. But he and his chairman, Henry Frick, were furious workers had a voice with the union. The mills have never been able to turn out the product they should, owing to being held back by the amalgamated men, he complained to Carnegie. So they're making record profits, but still not enough for these greedy assholes. The skilled... And a historian wrote, the skilled production workers at Homestead enjoyed wages significantly higher than any other mill in the country. Which, gee, these greedy guys can't go. I wonder if that's why we make record profits, is because we have really paid workers who want to be there.
Yeah, often it's weird how that often corresponds with productivity.
Yeah.
Workers that aren't dying and they're kind of happy.
Yeah. They're happy to be there. They're like, I get to go to work and make good money and provide for my family. So I'm going to work hard because I really like this job. Gee, that has nothing to do with profits. No, it's just rich white guys. We're geniuses. And how dare these guys have a voice? So So the union's contract, its 3-year deal, was coming to an end in 1892. The company demanded wage cuts, record profits, but they want wage cuts for 325 employees. Even though
full screen,
I'll go back to full screen. So they asked for wage cuts even after employees had agreed to wage cuts in 3 years before. So they took a wage cut before they signed their deal, right? 3 years ago. During the contract negotiations, management didn't make proposals to negotiate. It issued ultimatums to the union. So they didn't even come to the negotiation in good faith. They just said, nope, this is it. Right. The local newspaper pointed out that it was not so much a question of disagreement as to wages, but a design upon labor organization. So they were just trying to crush the union. Carnegie and Frick made little efforts to hide what they had in mind. Their company advertised widely for strike breakers and built a 10-foot high fence around the plant that was topped by barbed wire. Management was determined to provoke a strike. This is how evil these guys are. So the workers organized the town on a military basis. They were establishing pickets in 8-hour shifts, river patrols, and a signaling system. Frick, as was it the case of any 18th or 19th century rich guy, hired our good friends, the Pinkertons, to come in. And
for those who don't know, Pinkertons are like corporate police. They're like non-official police, but hired by the company to beat the shit out of workers.
Yep. And the Pinkertons, they were already notorious for infiltrating unions and breaking strikes. And at its height, the Pinkertons had more people than the United States, the entire U.S. Army. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Rich guys had their own army. So when Frick plotted to sneak 300 Pinkerton agents on river barges before dawn on July 6, word spread across town as they were arriving, and thousands of workers and their families rushed to the river to keep them out. Gunfire broke out between the men on the barge and the workers on land. In the mayhem that ensued, the Pinkertons surrendered and came ashore, where they were beaten and cursed by the angry workers. That I support wholeheartedly. By the end of the battle between the Pinkertons and nearly the entire town, 7 workers and 3 Pinkertons were dead. 4 days later, 8,500 National Guard forces were sent at the request of Frick to take control of the town and steel mill. After winning its victories, Frick announced, under no circumstances will we have any further dealing with the Amalgamated Association as an organization. This is final. And in November,
and we have an image of the National Guard showing up, or the state militia.
Yeah, that's the National Guard, 8,500 members. So as a result of this declaration, the Union collapsed. The daily wages then at Homestead shrunk by 1/5 between 1892 and 1907, while their work shifts increased from 8 to 12 hours. This was not the only measure of the steelworkers' final defeat. Sidney Lenz pointed out in the classic, The Labor Wars, from the Molly Maguires to the sit-downs, membership in Amalgamated Association plummeted from 24,000 to 10,000 in 1894 and down to 8,000 in 1895. Meanwhile, Carnegie steel profits rose to a staggering $106 million in 9 years after the Homestead. Again, this is late 1800s, $106 million.
Right. So what the fuck would that be today?
Oh,
a lot of money.
A lot of money. Billions, I would imagine. And for 26 long years, until the last months of World War I in 1918, union organizing among steelworkers was crushed. A song came out of it. father was killed by the Pinkerton man. The lyrics of this deeply angry ballad began, "'Twas a Pennsylvania town not very long ago. Men struck against reduction of their pay. Their millionaire employer with philanthropic show." So they knew Carnegie was bullshit back then. Had closed the works till starved they would obey. They fought for a home and a right to live where they had toiled so long. But ere the sun had set, some were laid low. So that was, so basically what what Carnegie did was,
and he wanted that, like you said, he was trying to get a strike to happen. He wanted that to happen.
Yeah, he provoked a strike. So he said, "We're cutting your wages," and that's that. And the union came in and said, "Well, wait, let's negotiate. How about this? We'll give you this. We'll give you that." And he just said, "No, no, 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 no." Provoked a strike. His goal was to crush the union. And basically what he did, he gave a roadmap to all these other robber barons. That's why this crushing of that amalgamated union, the steel workers union, was a roadmap for the rest of the country and the rest of these, Rockefeller and all these other guys to just go, "Yep, this is how you crush a union." And they got union membership way down. That's exactly what they did. So and we've seen a history of this. I mean, again, in the 1950s in America had a very high union membership, and they've been trying to take that down. I mean, remember when Reagan was like, "I'm crushing the
air traffic
controllers union." That was, again, another, like, the state at the behest of Wall Street saying, "Crush the unions." Unions are bad because they're great for organizing political stuff. You get a bunch of unions to agree with you. I mean, and these greedy, awful people. So that's, again, another thing about America. It's all a lie. Carnegie's not a good guy.
I know. I was thinking we could do several episodes on just like Carnegie, Rockefeller, or what, like the various titans of industry that, quote unquote, built America, and the reality behind them,
Yes, so this is so I just wanted people to be aware of this from since we just celebrated Labor Day, the history of American business owners getting help from the United States federal government and police departments at crushing American labor people. So like when Chris Smalls is invited to Biden's White House, it's totally for show. I'm sure Smalls was aware of that, but like,
absolutely.
And to listen to politicians talk about Labor Day, it's a joke.
Well, and it helps by inviting him. It helps actually capture his brand, because then people view him as aligned with Biden, when in fact, if you're organizing unions, you're not aligned with Biden, because Biden's done nothing for unions or workers or anything
ever. And it's that fake, it's the Democrats' fake alignment with labor.
Yeah.
They get some unions to back them, and they kind of stick with the unions just enough to get their votes, but they never really fight for any real labor measures ever. So, so that's that. That's
Government Secret segment number 1. Now segment number 2, the Queen's Jewels.
So I realize this is not the United States, but every once in a while we need to throw a government secret in the direction of our friends, the Brits. And of course, the Queen just died. And right now, anybody who criticizes her in the UK is being arrested. Like there's a bunch of videos of people yelling at either the king, who elected the king, or not my king, or whatever. And they're fucking getting tackled by cops. And arrested.
There's a video I showed on my live stream yesterday of a guy heckling Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Saying you're disgusting. And then he got arrested and somebody shoved him. And then there's a lot of Brits that are nutbag cult followers that love the Queen and the monarchy. She was like our grandmother or whatever. They've done a nice job of culting up some of those people. I doubt any of them will be at our show October 12th, but
yeah, no, they're not our kind of people. So, in all these images of the Queen, and in fact, in the last royal funeral, 2002, the crown jewels sat on the coffin of the Queen Mother. Actually, if you want to show this image, okay. So that's the crown jewels. I think the biggest one at the top there is the Kohinoor diamond, and you know, this isn't just a shiny piece of shit. This is kind of the emblem of British monarchy, royalty, the British Empire, all that shit. And at the top of it is this, you know, one-of-a-kind diamond that is supposedly magnificent. And a lot of people don't know where that diamond came from. So this is from Smithsonian Magazine is where I'm getting this information. And so they say for centuries, let's see here. For centuries, India was the world's only source of diamonds all the way until 1725 with the discovery of diamond mines in Brazil. Also, they don't mention that other than kind of the biggest, most grand diamonds, like diamonds didn't used to be a thing. Like it took a lot of consumerist marketing to make everyone think that diamonds are so rare and everyone needs to buy them and you need to get engaged with them and all this shit. Smaller diamonds are not actually rare, which is why they have them on the tips of chainsaw blades. I mean, like chainsaw blades are literally diamond tipped, and yet at the same time we're all like, no, we should pay $10,000 for a diamond ring.
Wow. And then
it's all fucking social engineering. It's crazy.
God.
I used to have a joke in my routine where I was like, so look, if you still want something special when you get engaged to give the person, then how about every time someone gets engaged, they give the person a t-shirt that says free mustache rides? Like, because that t-shirt is literally more rare than diamonds. Like, provably more rare than diamonds.
Oh, what I would get somebody for an engagement is just a ring that says, I support slavery. And that's what I would put on there.
You'd get them a shiny pair of nunchucks.
That's what I would. I would get engagement nunchucks. They're very tastefully done.
So Turco-Mongol leader Zahir-ud-Din Babur came from Central Asia, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing all these right, through the Khyber Pass to invade India in 1526, establishing the Islamic Mughal dynasty. I should have looked that one up because I didn't know if it was Mughal, which I think is from Harry Potter. So the Mughal dynasty.
This is the early stages of Hogwarts. That's what started all this.
I also love that, like, you know, and granted, I know very little about Indian history, but I love that I've never even heard of the Mughal dynasty, and yet it lasted 300 years, which is longer than the American Empire has been around, longer than America's existed.
Yeah,
like,
there's a bunch of you know. Some people are like, most dynasties last about 300, like European and American maybe, but like some of these Middle Eastern and Asian dynasties lasted for 500,000 years. Like they're crazy. They've been around a long time.
And the Maya were like 3,000 years, and here we are collapsing right now after 250 years. That's all we could manage. 250, and then everybody's online watching video games of someone twerking. Like, and it's just over. It's over.
It's done. Everyone's just watching. They're just on Twitch twerking with a vape pen and having a bacon wrapped something. And
yes, exactly.
Bacon wrapped water coming out of their faucet.
All these kids with their bacon wrapped Twitch. So so they brought in a new era of infatuations with gemstones. Gemstones, you know, seeing as some are rare, some are not so rare, depending on the area. You got to tell people, hey, these are a big deal. Because otherwise someone holds them up and they go, well, this one's shiny. You know what else is shiny? Quartz. And that's in my driveway. I don't know if they had driveways back then, but
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they had lawnmowers and driveways back in the 1500s.
And so you have to tell people, you have to go, no, this type of shiny one means a lot and we're willing to murder people for it. This type of shiny one, I mean, shit, you can have those. Like you gotta socially engineer that shit into people. But anyway, they would rule for 330 years, spanning the territory across nearly all of present-day India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and eastern Afghanistan, all the while reveling in the mountains of gemstones they inherited and pillaged. Oh, I love the idea of just being like, look how many things I pillaged. This is awesome. Look at all of my pillaging. I am such a good pillager.
And back then, like all of the leaders were pillagers. It was sort of like a participation medal. You know what I mean? Like everybody got a pillager trophy.
Yeah. And whereas now the United States tries to claim we don't pillage, we're like, no, we don't. What oil? We didn't take any oil. We don't know. Like now it's like ugly to admit it. So now they don't. Whereas back then it was like, we went and we pillaged for you, our people. Here is what we pillaged.
Yeah, you got a high five after a pillage back in the day, where now we pretend like we don't do it. It's just like, we didn't pillage. We just explained to the Iraqis they shouldn't have put their country above our oil. That's what happened.
Exactly. So in 1628, Mughal ruler Shah Jahan commissioned a magnificent gemstone-encrusted throne. Shah Jahan's throne took 7 years to make, costing 4 times as much as the Taj Mahal. He made a fucking chair that cost 4 times as much as the Taj Mahal. So,
oh God.
Graham, where does your chair you're sitting in now rate on that scale?
It's only about 1.5 Taj Mahals is my chair. I didn't go nuts. I just kept it right in the 1 to 1.5 Taj Mahals is right. That's usually right in my sweet spot.
That's good.
I spend most
Staples or
I got it. Well, it was Office Depot. I got and then I put most of my money into my nunchucks. That's where most of my Taj Mahal money goes, is into my nunchucks.
Well, they're an extension of your dick. You got to put your money into the nunchucks. The chair's just an extension of your ass, which not worth it. No one says how big's that guy's ass.
I have a diamond studded dick. That is a fact.
So he makes this great crazy throne. The Kohinoor diamond was lodged at the very top of the throne in the head of a glistening peacock. So he put it in the head of his cock. That's interesting.
It's kind of like the Yakuza would sew a pearl into their dick. So this guy would put a thing. This is early Yakuza stuff. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, listen, I mean, if you're gonna have a diamond studded peacock, you got to go all out.
I mean, what's the point of having a diamond studded peacock if you're not going to just make the head of your own cock glisten and shimmer in the light?
Persian ruler Nader Shah invaded Delhi in 1739, and the ensuing carnage cost tens of thousands of lives. Nader left the city accompanied by so much gold and so many gems that the looted treasure required 700 elephants, 4,000 camels, and 12,000 horses just to pull it. Dude, these people knew how to bling. We act like, like rappers nowadays act like they know how to bling. These folks, they could bling.
I know. You really go, wow. I guess I shouldn't be so hard on Bezos for having his 5 houses or whatever. Like, these guys just roll deep. These cats just drip on everything, just blinging it, just making it rain with just like diamond studded peacocks.
I feel like that when that guy walked into town with his 700 elephants and 9,000 camels or whatever it was, I would have been like, this guy's amazing. He has 700 elephants. And he's like, no, that's not the thing. The thing is the gold and stuff. And I'm like, but look at all those elephants. I'm just into the elephants.
Lee likes an elephant parade. That's good to know.
The Kohinoor would remain away from India in a country that would become Afghanistan for 70 years. It passed between the hands of various rulers in one blood-soaked episode after another, including a king who blinded his own son and a deposed
Jesus Christ. It's what? He blinded his own son?
And I assume when they say he blinded his son, they mean like took a knife to his eyes, not like his son saw him naked and never saw again or whatever. Like, not like accidentally. I think like took his son's eyes out.
Wow.
But it gets worse. Another deposed ruler had his head shaved and then was coronated with molten gold, which, for those who don't know, quickly kills the person having molten gold poured onto their head.
The guy didn't realize this till it was too late, huh? He was like, I'm going to have a gold head. And then he was like, bad idea. And then he dies and just...
No, I think it was done to him, would be my guess. This was his punishment for, you're not our fucking king anymore. That's the other thing they did right. They knew how to bling and they knew how to fucking kill. Like, they would kill in the most creative ways. It wasn't just our pansy ass, electric chairs and shit. This was, we're going to put molten gold on your skull.
Yeah, there's no creativity to just gunning somebody down. I want to pour gold on your head. I'm so rich, I can pour gold on your head so you die. I'm going to turn you into a statue. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. So with all the fighting between Central Asian factions, a power vacuum grew in India. And you know who came to check out that power vacuum? The British.
No.
They were like, did someone say power vacuum?
Hello?
They showed up dressed as British maids, butlers.
Yeah.
They were like, do you need your power vacuumed?
We're here to tidy up and take your trade routes.
At the turn of the 19th century, the British East India Company expanded its territorial control from coastal cities to the interior of the Indian subcontinent. And I included a paragraph about the East India Company. We could probably do a whole episode on them if we were doing British government secrets. But for those who think corporate rule is only a recent thing, the East India Company was a British joint stock company founded in 1600 and dissolved in 1874. It was formed, so even it lasted longer than the United States has so far. It was formed to trade in the Indian Ocean region, initially with the East Indies and later with East Asia. The company seized control of large parts of the Indian subcontinent. Like, this is a company that just steals countries. They colonized parts of Southeast Asia and Hong Kong and kept trading posts and colonies in the Persian Gulf. At its peak, the company was the largest corporation in the world. Now, many people may be going, well, how does a company steal areas of the world? Like, how does a company own an area of the world? Wouldn't that require a military, not just a company? Funny you should ask. The East India Company even had its own armed forces in the form of the company's 3 presidency armies, totaling about 260,000 soldiers, twice the size of the British Army.
This is why Carnegie read this and he was like, man, I got to come on. That's why I'm going to start my Carnegie was like, oh, well, I just get a couple of steel mills. These guys get a whole subcontinent. Come on. That's why I'm going to make more Pinkertons than army people.
Clearly I need. Yeah. So this is the theme for this episode is corporations having armies. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. I mean, talk about fucking colonization. Like, you go to a country, you show up like, hi, we're the East India Company. We'd like to do business with you. Please meet our 250, please meet our 250,000 soldiers that are going to make sure you want to do business with us.
Wow. I know, it's funny. You read this historically and you're like, Halliburton and Triple Canopy and these like private, they're nothing. They pale in comparison to what these guys did in the past.
Yeah, in many ways, the one difference, of course, is they have the U.S. Army behind them. So, you know, Halliburton does. So you have the largest death machine that's ever existed, just out of scene from Halliburton. So every time you see a Halliburton commercial, just off camera, largest death machine that's ever existed. So the East India Company would ultimately annex more territory than all of Napoleon's conquests in Europe. Like, I mean, that's also funny because Napoleon is known as this conqueror and dictator, and yet the East India Company stole more territory.
This is what is so, when you see how sophisticated propaganda is and the propaganda of the ruling elites. So the British Empire, you know, the sun never sets on the British Empire. And so it is recorded they were colonized, but this East India Company just has quietly done more. And everyone's like, boy, Napoleon was a psycho. He just was power hungry, little short guy complex. And it's like, oh, but East India, nobody knows about this. Nobody knows how awful they were.
I feel like when they were talked about in our history class, it was always just like the East India Company came and, you know, brought a few slaves with them or something. Like it was always like, just some little side note. The East India Company decided to check out the Americas. Like,
yeah, they invented how to transport tea leaves or something. You know what I mean? There's some like little happy little tidbit that's what they're known for when the just power hungry, insane, militarized greed always just gets brushed over.
So in addition to claiming more natural resources and trading posts, the British also had their eye on a piece of priceless treasure, the Kohinoor. After decades of fighting, the diamond returned to India and came into the hands of Sikh ruler Ranjit Singh in 1813. The diamond then became a symbol of potency more so than beauty. So this really upped its branding of this particular diamond. And the British, all of a sudden, that it wasn't just about, oh, that shows wealth. For them, it was about, it shows our power and it shows our prestige. And so we got to get that fucking thing. So it became a much higher on the British Empire's to-do list. They thought if they could own the jewel of India as well as the country itself, it would symbolize their power and colonial superiority. When the British learned of Ranjit Singh's death in 1839 and his plan to give the diamond and other jewels to a sect of Hindu priests, the British press exploded with outrage. They said the richest, most costly gem in the known world has been committed to the trust of a profane, idolatrous, and mercenary priesthood. That's the old, our nutty religion is correct, your nutty religion is heresy.
Oh, all religions are cults. Anyway.
Side note. After Ranjit Singh's death in 1839, oh, I love this part. The Punjabi throne passed between 4 different rulers in 4 years. At the end of the violent period, the only people left in line for the throne were a young boy, Duleep Singh, and his mother. In 1849, after imprisoning his mother, so get rid of her, the British forced Duleep to sign a legal document that required him to give away the Kohinoor and all claim to sovereignty. The boy was 10 years old.
This is where it comes from. When we read stuff like, I remember we talked about last year the bayonet constitution, how the U.S. Army stole the Hawaiian Islands, right? Yeah. They just put a bayonet to the king's head and said, sign this. This comes from the Brits. They're still formal. So they just want to go, well, the document was signed. Like
we got to get this documented.
Yeah. They don't want to be too savage and just come in and kill everybody and say that we're taking this. They're going to go, no, we're going to put your mom in jail and make you sign this thing. So we can go, oh, well, he signed it over. It was all above board. You know, like it's just, I just love
the idea of doing a deal with a 10-year-old. You've already imprisoned your mother, and now they offer a 10-year-old an offer he can't refuse, which was probably like 4.5 now and laters or something.
His own BMX bike. That's what they offered him. Like he's getting
yeah. His mom finally gets out of prison. She's like, "What'd you do?" He's like, "I got a pogo stick."
Oh God.
From there, the diamond became a special possession of Queen Victoria. It was displayed at the 1851 Great Exposition in London, only for the British public at the time to be dismayed at how simple it was. Now, here's the thing is, I don't think enough work at that time, 1851, had been put into explaining that this shiny rock called diamond matters more than other shiny rocks. And so apparently they put it on display and the British public is like, it just looks like a piece of glass. So given the disappointing reception, Prince Albert, Queen Victoria's husband, had the stone recut and polished, a process that reduced its size by half. I love the idea. This diamond is priceless. Cut it in half and make it look prettier. But by polishing it, they made the light refract more brilliantly from its surface. It eventually became part of the crown jewels, first in the crown of Queen Alexandra, then the crown of Queen Mary. The diamond came to its current place of honor in 1937 at the front of the crown, worn by the Queen Mother, mother of Elizabeth II. Elizabeth II is the one that just died. The crown made its last public appearance in 2002, resting atop the coffin of the Queen Mother for her funeral. And I don't know if it was also if it's on the Queen's coffin now. But one of the historians said, made the point, if you ask anybody, pretty much anybody, what should happen to Jewish art stolen by the Nazis, everyone would say, of course, they need to give it back to the rightful owners. And yet we've come to not say the same thing about Indian loot taken hundreds of years earlier, also at the point of a gun. What's the moral distinction exactly? Why is one so different than the other?
Yep. Well, it's when the Brits do it. It's okay.
When the Brits and the Americans, yeah.
Yeah, when the Brits and the Americans do it, it's okay.
Empire. Yeah.
It's our empire we were nicer in our savagery and colonialism and genocide and just outright theft. It was okay. It's just.
And of course, this is just a story of one of the most well-known diamonds. It's pretty similar a story for the Hope Diamond and most of the diamonds and shit that the England royalty touts were stolen from India or somewhere.
That's why we're sister cultures, because both of our countries, our history is lies and awfulness. They just been doing it longer.
You know how all of their shit, all of their shiny shit is stolen? When was the last time you heard someone go, yeah, I found a massive diamond in Cornwall. Huge sapphire discovered in Liverpool.
Oh man, you see all those diamonds they got out of Balmoral, Scotland? It was nuts, dude. Oh, Lee, that's a great joke, and you should do that at our show in London. That's a great joke.
I should do it in London, yeah. By the way, folks, we have live shows coming up in London, Stockholm, and Berlin the first week of October, 3rd, 5th, and 12th. And you can get tickets on my site, leecamp.com, or Graham's site. But yeah, grab your tickets for those.
Yes, get your tickets. So October 3rd, Stockholm, October 5th, Berlin, October 12th, London. I will be in London on October 8th for the free Julian Assange event at the Houses of Parliament. So
good. I'm glad it's free. I was worried they were going to charge a lot for that.
Yes.
Graham only goes to free Julian Assange events.
I can't afford the ticketed ones. I can't do that.
You bastard.
So yeah, if you're in England for that, check that out. And then our London show, the VIP tickets are already sold out. So there's only general admission tickets available. But again, go to leecamp.com or grahamelwood.com to get tickets. And then I will be touring in the States for my comedy special. I'm in New York City, October 18th, Madison, Wisconsin, October 20th, Detroit, Michigan, October 21st, Cincinnati, October 22nd. And then I'm in Chicago taping my live comedy special at the historic Zanies Comedy Club, October 26th. And so come out to that. Come out to one of those shows. If you're in Chicago, come to the taping because I've got like 5 4K cameras ready to shoot. It's going to be my first ever comedy special taping. I've done albums and stand up, but never a full special. So you want to be a part of that. And it's, you know, a lot of politics and political commentary in my act. So go to grahamelwood.com for all of that.
Will Mattress Cam be opening? Oh.
Mattress Cam is my opening act. Absolutely. Mattress Cam will be my opening act. I bring Mattress Cam on the road. So yeah, I'm going to put these both on. These are both of our websites are on the screen right there, leecamp.com and grahamelwood.com for tickets. Come see us do a live show. And at all the government secret shows, in Berlin and Stockholm, Eleanor Goldfield will be opening up with music. And then Lee and I will each be doing stand-up sets. So you'll see us do stand-up sets and then we'll do a full government secrets episode as well.
And then London, George Galloway will be opening.
Yes. Yes. So get your tickets, come to one of those shows. We've only ever done one live show, which was in Los Angeles a year ago. So these are, and we've never
it
done.
Was a disaster. So we're hoping to do better this time. No, I'm kidding. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Doing this show in front of a live audience is a blast because we go way more for the jokes because we're just constantly going for laughs.
Oh my God. Speaking of shows being a disaster, I know you'll appreciate this. I saw an interview with John Oliver and he's gone full fucking State Department at this point. But he said he did an Edinburgh show where he started with 6 audience members and then 2 people left and then 2 more left. And then there was a couple. So it was just 2 people. It was a couple left. And the guy says he's going to the bathroom and he goes, and like 15 minutes go by. And then he sees the woman's arm inching towards her purse. And he finally just says to her, "Are you leaving?" And she just goes, "Yeah." And so she leaves and it's an empty room. And then the sound guy comes up and goes, "Do you want to continue?"
Did he finish his set? That's what I want to know.
No, he did not. But yeah, that's one of my favorite fucking walkout stories.
Oh God, that is rough. Is this before he was famous? I would imagine.
Yeah, this is. I was on a show once with him in Edinburgh, but he was already on the Daily Show at that point. But yeah, he and his partner Zaltzman Zaltzman probably still does do Edinburgh Fringe Festival like every year.
Okay. I've never done that festival. I hear it's fun.
It's fucking exhausting. It's fun and exhausting. It's a month long. You play every night. You do an hour every night. Some people leave saying it was the worst experience of their life, such as Mark Maron has mentioned multiple times that it was the worst experience of his life. And others like me, I did it 2 times. It was amazing and awful at the same time.
How so?
Well, some nights you're every night of the week and you're up against 1,000 shows. So even if you're doing well, you're not going to be doing well every night of the week unless you're some big name. So right. I had nights where the room was, I think it was an 80-seater. I had nights where it was sold out, a couple, and it was amazing, and it felt awesome. And and you're doing all your real shit, and they're responding to real shit. They don't want hack shit. Like, it's just great. And then I had other nights where it's like 6 people in the audience, and you're like, what am I doing this to myself for? How am I supposed to do an hour for 6 people? Like, you want to kill yourself.
Wow.
Anyway,
yeah,
we can chat more about that later.
Folks, if you're listening to this, whatever you're listening or watching, please give this like it, give it a positive review if you're listening. That always helps. Share this on your social media. Let people know about the show. Because we do like no advertising. We just tell our fans to listen and watch this. So if you can help us spread the word on this, it really is amazing. Come to a live show. Come see me perform live. Because we have good turnout at the live shows. We'll do more of them. and we're hoping to then do some shows in the US next spring and summer. So
and you can
check
join us right now for a bonus segment.
Yes, go over to patreon.com/government secrets. Well, we will do a bonus segment. So go to
patreon.com/government secrets. Lee Camp, I will see you over at Patreon.
See you there.
This has been Government Secrets, episode 97 with Lee Camp and Crab Elwood. The Queen's Jewels and Choco Sticks.
All right, guys, we'll see you over there.